Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, and I'm back for kind of another channel update bonus video for you guys today because I have a few things that I want to talk about. Some interesting things have been happening in the world of game accessibility and assistive technology, and I kind of wanted to touch on a few of those different things today. And so there were a couple of other topics. I know there's so much negativity going around in the world right now. Division and just people being horrible. Governments being stupid. We'll just leave it at that. And there are some kind of gaming related things that I would really like to talk about in more detail at some point. But I want to keep this video with some positive news for a change, because I think we all need some. And so before I get into talking about assistive technology and games and such, I do want to quickly do my intro spiel for these types of videos. And first, I do genuinely want to thank people for following the channel, following my work, subscribing, watching the videos, commenting, reaching out via email or social media. I've had a little bit of all of it recently, and it's pretty cool. I've had developers reach out to me. I've had people who watch the videos. I've had people who found the channel and say, hey, I have a relative or whatever who has just lost their vision, and I have some questions, and all of those things are, more than welcome. So thank you to everybody who has been supporting the channel and my work in general. So that is very much appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I do unlock videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. This is going to be a bonus video, though, because there's just too much other things I want to get out in a fairly timely fashion in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, in addition to Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays, I do unlock bonus videos from time to time. If, like today, there's some, gaming and tech updates that I want to talk about. Maybe there's a conference or a show. We have Gamescom next week, so who knows what kind of game announcements we're going to get out of that. We have Apple's fall event coming up next month. We have, who knows, man? Who knows? Like I said, it could be a holiday video, could be tech or gaming related, accessibility related, any number of different things, or maybe just because I feel like it. So yeah, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and I do divide everything into playlists. So if you have a certain type of thing that you're interested in, please check out the playlists channel, because I do have games I play as a low vision player, blind accessible games, accessible VR content, so VR experiences, VR games, game accessibility, tech accessibility, assistive technology, my Growing Up Illegally Cited playlist. I love to mention that one. I have a whole series on the Toby accessibility mod for Doom. I got to go back and watch literally some of those early videos from version like 2.0, 3.0, and just marvel at how far we've come. Speaking of which, Toby Doom 9.0 is not officially out yet. I know he's really, he just like everybody else, he's Sir Alan D1, Mr. Alan D1 has his, has his other stuff in his life that he has to do too. But he is working on, patching up a few things, even compared to when I showed the video a week or two ago. And so, like I said, I will let you guys know. Stay tuned to my social media, Twitter, Blue Sky, and, I will update the video link. Hell, I might even do maybe just a short, like, I don't know, couple minute video just saying, hey, it's out. Go watch these other videos if you want to know more. Because I really, really want to support this mod. He's done so much with this 30-year-old engine. It's insane. The stuff that I didn't think that we would even get close to being possible, they've gone to that level and then beyond it. So yeah, Toby Doom mod kicks some serious ass, especially with QuakeCon happening last weekend. You know, I did the video for the Heretic and Hexen uh, remaster from Night Dive. They always do quality work, and I'm curious. Actually, I need to try it at some point. If I grab the new like WAD files from these updated versions, I wonder if they will have the extra episodes in them. Like if I went to go, let's say, if I went to play Classic Doom and I use those WAD files, would it include these new episodes that came out, you know, for Doom last year or for Heretic and Hexen this year? I'll have to play around with that at some point just to see. You know, again, the mainstream levels are going to be a bit more difficult than the more streamlined Toby levels, and I definitely recommend people starting with the Toby levels first to learn the game. But, you know, the fact that it's out there and that it's theoretically possible is great. But yeah, like I said, I have everything by playlist. Lots of different stuff there, different podcasts and interview appearances I've done. I have links to those. I've got, you know, some geeky collectibles and different things like that. I still love my Optimus Prime. It is so sweet. And got a few more Doom-related bits of swag coming my way, hopefully. So I'm hoping that stuff ships here pretty soon. I really wanted to get the Doom Slayer figure, but it was like $180 or something, and I'm like, yeah, I can afford it, but I don't know. Like if it goes on sale or something or whatever, maybe I'll get it at some point. But I had to get the Shield Saw plushie pillow, and then they have this little mini Shield Saw that you can use as like a desk ornament. That just looked cool, and I had to have it. So, yes, I would love the Doom Slayer with his big old shield and cape. That looks badass, but, you know, I'm just going to have to wait on that. But, yeah, so, again, thank you to everybody who has been supporting the channel. There's a lot of videos. Like I said, literally the first thing in the For You here is the Toby Doom 9.0 video. We've got some... looks like, so yeah, we got a whole variety of videos. I did a low vision spot, or an early access low vision spotlight, basically, for this Technoplasm, and it's really cool. It's like this first-person beat-em-up brawler type of thing. Yes, there are guns, but they're not the focus. And it's a really fun, you know, punch and beat dudes in the face with any type of your fist or your blunt instrument or whatever. It's pretty fun. I'm enjoying that a lot and waiting for the full game. But yeah, I mean, we got an accessible iOS game that I just covered, Rift, A Timely Manner. You can control that with your voice. You can almost play it like you would on like a smart speaker game. Just kick back in your chair or lay in bed and play this game. And it's not just like choose A, B, or C. You know, you're literally playing an adventure game and combining things and solving puzzles and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, the Heretic and Hexen. I mean, there's our Toby Doom. I did an updated video in the Growing Up Illegally Cited playlist talking about the demo scene, which is not game demos, but excuse me, dry air. That basically there are graphic audio demos and audio demos, but they're meant to really push old hardware to their limits and just show what is possible. And check out the video because it's really kind of a neat scene. And when you look at what kind of hardware they were using to like build this stuff, kind of makes me wish that modern developers would optimize things a little bit more and just do crazy stuff like with creativity like they used to. But yeah, so those are some channel updates as far as what's out right now. Again, I said I had a lot of videos I wanted to cover soon. Yeah, there's been a lot of little games coming out and that are going to be coming out. I've recorded several videos recently, and I do have a couple more PC. And I don't remember if I have a couple. Well, I know I've got a couple mobile games I've already recorded. Um, but I've got a couple other PC games, accessible games that I'm going to be covering soon. Um, I did pick up the expansion for Brock the Investigator, the Brawl Bar, which is going to be available. Well, it is available on pretty much every modern platform. I grabbed the PC version via Steam. And it's a little bit more of the fighting game focus, although it does have a little bit of the adventure game mechanics that the original game was known for. So I want to release that in the near future. And there's also a shout out to the developer who reached out to me about a week ago, give or take. And he's in the process of developing primarily an audio game, first-person audio game, and it's called Sounds Terrifying. Sounds Terrifying. You can get it on, if you just look up on itch.io. You just go to itch.io. It's kind of like a really like an indie. It's big on like smaller indie games, and it's a free game. There is going to be a Steam version coming at some point. And what's really cool is I'm still going to release the video for what I created. I think that's going to be either a Saturday or a Monday video, because there's another demo video that I want to get out before the full game's release. But this Sounds Terrifying. What's cool about it is a lot of the things that I talk about in the video for suggestions, or maybe this would work better if this would be changed, or things like that. He's been communicating with me via email, and I got to reply to him again. He's been talking with a couple other people too that have been providing feedback, and it sounds like he's already implemented several of the ideas and several of the fixes that I talk about in my video. So yes, I could wait for the full game to come out, but I think the reason I sort of want to show this video, even though what you're going to see is going to be a little bit out of date with some of the problems I mention, is, I always get questions from people about what's all involved in being a consultant, or accessibility advocate consultant, a tester, that kind of a thing. And that's the sort of mindset you have to have. And just like I did for the Diablo video, the Diablo 4 beta a few years ago, and a couple other videos here and there, I like to kind of show that process, because this is an unfinished game. And, it gives you an idea of what is available now and what might change. And it gives you a look at the process that I and others will go through to try and suggest improvements or features that would, make the game more accessible and understandable for players. So yeah, expect that to come out here, and like I said, either either Saturday or Monday. I haven't decided if I want to do the demo first or if I want to do the accessible game first. And as I say in a lot of videos, the reason I don't just, here's an accessible game, let's put it out. Here's another accessible game, let's put a video out. Because there are there's so many more low vision accessible games than there are blind games. I want to, have variety on the channel. Like, I don't want to release 17 first-person shooter videos in a row. Just like I don't want to burn through all my blind accessible games and then have nothing blind accessible to cover in the next month, 3 months, whatever. So I know it sucks to kind of wait, but I like to spread them out at least, maybe like a week apart, if there are a lot of things to cover, because I want to cover different types of games, but also the blind accessible games just don't come out as frequently enough to really cover them as often. So, I want to have things for people to play. Not just all at once, but so people can have time spread things out a little bit more. So there's that. There's the demo that I want to cover. The game is coming out actually later this month, and God, we're already midway through August. This is just scary how fast this year is going. But I played the demo for the new Shinobi game, and it's not blind accessible, and there are a couple of low vision issues here and there, but I really like what I played, and I am probably going to pick up the full version when it comes out because I'm pretty intrigued where they're going with it. Just the way it feels, the way it plays. I like the look of it. The main thing that I really want them to add, and I don't know if or when they will, even post-launch, I would love the ability to be able to dim or darken the background of a level, because there are a few scenes, even as a low vision player, where there's so much chaos going on and your character and the background are a little bit, they kind of blend together a little bit. So it can be a little bit difficult, but what I've played of the demo, I really liked, and so I will have a Shinobi demo here coming out, again, probably Saturday or Monday, depending on what I decide. Like I said, so we got the demo, we've got the kind of early build of Sounds Terrifying, and then I want to cover Brock the Investigator, the Brawl Bar, because that definitely has accessibility in it as well. And I'm not going to say anything else about that, but like I said, I have a lot to say about that game, and it is pretty cool. A few challenges, few potential hiccups here and there, but stay tuned for that in the near future. And, when I did the original Joker Poker video, it was funny, I didn't realize, because I had just played the one mode, and I actually played the ranked game, and I didn't know that a ranked game was that different from the core game. So I might do an actual follow-up video to show you the core game. If you don't want to play online, because really the core experience is your traditional kind of Balatro Joker Poker. You have 2 rounds and then a boss round, 2 rounds and then a boss round. I feel bad that I didn't show that. The mechanics of playing the hands are the same, but I want to, and the shop is the same, but like the way things work, it's, you don't just play a hand and see how things go. So I might do a follow-up video on that, because I really want to give that game its fair attention, because it's a good one. I play some card games, but I don't play a ton of them. They just don't hold my attention. But because if you're playing like poker or blackjack, it's fine, it's fun. But I like how they've taken the concept of a poker hand and just completely twisted it. You have all these other alternate cards and things. So might do a follow-up on that. There's another audio game that I saw on another channel that I might cover, if I can figure out a way not to suck so bad at it. I love what it's doing in theory, but I'm just not getting some of the reaction time or understanding every little blip and bloop and whatever. And I believe that one's called Ball Bouncer, so some of you have probably heard of it. It's neat, and I love the idea, because it combines, it's like, what if, what if you took the traditional game Breakout and you combined it with Dangerous Golf? You're not using a golf club, but you're basically using a baseball bat, and so you're wrecking things in this room and trying to cause damage and combos, which is great. But there's something with like the way the sounds are, and for me, it's sort of hard to tell exactly when I should hit the ball, and there are just some control and audio things that I haven't fully wrapped my hand around, and so my ends run a bit early. But I may check that out if I wrap my head around that a little bit. But yeah, so there are, and of course there's a lot of mainstream games coming. There's a lot of indie games coming. There's some beat 'em ups. There's some first-person shooters. There's a couple really bizarro games that one I already recorded the video for, and one I haven't recorded the video for, and it's not a game a genre I normally like to play, but the premise is just so batshit weird that I have to play around with it at least just to know, and that's all I'm gonna say. So you guys are just gonna have to subscribe and stay tuned for that. So that is, yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm busy at work, doing some side stuff, projects and consulting and whatever, doing the channel and whatnot. But that's, yeah, where things are with the channel and life and everything like that. But the other major thing I want to talk a little bit about, and it does involve the channel, is in case you haven't noticed, there's kind of been this thing with smart glasses lately. We've talked about the Meta Raybans now for a couple of years. Since I reviewed them on the channel last summer, they've released several updates. They now work with the Be My Eyes, not their AI, but they work with the live call feature, so you could do that. But and Be My, or not Be My Eyes, the Meta Ray-Bans, they've gotten better about like describing things. There's actually a new option now that hopefully should be rolled out to everybody by this point, where you can go under accessibility in the app and turn on more detailed descriptions. So when you ask it, hey, what am I looking at? It'll tell you a more detailed description of, what you're looking at or what you're asking about. And they've just sort of cleaned things up a little bit. They can read documents a little bit better. It's still a bit frustrating because you kind of have to sometimes almost trick it to how you're asking it. Because like, if you just say read a document, sometimes it'll fully read, and sometimes it still likes to give a summary. And like if you're looking at a restaurant menu, sometimes you'll ask it like, oh, tell me about the appetizers or whatever, and then it'll tell you the prices. But then you say, oh, how much is the lasagna? And it'll like, oh, I can't tell you prices, when it just read through the entrees section with prices. So there is some inconsistency jank. But again, this is a mainstream product that just so happens to work pretty well with or for blind and low vision users. But there are a couple other upcoming wearables that are going to be coming out here probably within the near future. And one of them was literally just publicly announced today. I actually got a sneak peek of it. I got the announcement yesterday because I was technically in the beta and on their Slack, so they gave us a day and one advance day notice. But it's available for everybody to pre-order now, and that is the Ally smart glasses. They are the Ally. Oh crap! What are they? I just went stupid. They are the Solos. Yes, the Solos. So Solos is an existing brand of smart glasses, and funnily enough, my coworker actually bought a pair. I have not seen them yet because he's like, I thought that would be another cheap alternative to the Meta Ray-Bans, but it wasn't really working out that great, and he was gonna send them back. But then he's like, well, I'll keep them just in case something does happen. But apparently, I think it sounds like if you already own an existing pair of solos, you will be able to eventually, when the Ally versions come out, you'll be able to basically flash or update your firmware um, to turn the glasses you already have into the Ally version. So you don't have to buy a separate one if you already have a pair of these Solos glasses. And they are expecting to ship in like late September, like early October-ish. And you can pre-order them now. But the problem is you're not going to get them quite as cheap as I did, because they had 3 different tiers of pre-order early access. You had the Ultra early bird, where you got them for, let me look here, $400 basically. And with that, you get any of these pre-orders, you get the glasses, the charging cable, the case, the whatever all you need to get started. And the super early bird, unfortunately, is sold out. They had a very limited number of those, and those were $3.99. Now they still do have the super early bird, which is going to be $4.99. And it looks like there are 200 remaining. And then if those sell out, they have just the early bird, and they are $5.99. So again, for all of these, you can use the free version of Ally, or you can have the premium version of Ally. And if you pre-order the glasses, you get a free year of the premium version. So, and it looks like even if you, let's say you already did a year, let's say you subscribe to the Ally premium service already, they'll just append that to your existing subscription. So, to support them, I did I did decide to try when they had that early deal for their for their Ally subscription. They had a lower price for a little bit, and so I did support that. So I will have, another extra year. I did pre-order a pair. I got the Ultra Early Bird, so I saved a little bit of money there. And if I scroll down here, it looks like, okay, so you get the case, you get the charging cable, you get the manual, you get the glasses, and a cleaning cloth. And they had a webinar early this morning. There's been a couple of podcasts. The Access On podcast had one. And, oh God, I went stupid again. What was, oh man, I'm trying to think. There's another one I listened to this morning. I was on her frickin' I was on I was interviewed on her channel, for God's sake. And there's too many things running through my mind. I'm so sorry, I don't remember what your channel is called. I think it was called, was it Accessibility? I forget. But there's a few different places that have had interviews with Envision. And, so this is working with, these glasses work, they're designed to work with the Ally app. So I've covered what used to be called the Envision Assistant, which is now called Ally. I did that Christmas theme demo. And then I did in January or February, whatever it was this year, I gave you kind of a tour of Ally, and it's pretty good. They're still working out a few rough edges on a few things, but it works pretty well. And they've already talked about the roadmap. A lot of the things that I want to see in future updates are things that they are looking toward doing. They did just add, for the premium tier of users, they do have a conversation history now. So because you're talking exclusively by voice, like if I'm just doing a voice conversation, previously you wouldn't have a way to to look at, your chat history. So let's say that you asked about like a recipe for something, or you asked for suggestions on something. You better write it down, or you better remember it, because you wouldn't be able to go back and look, but now you can. They are looking into more of a preemptive live AI type of thing. So like, like a live AI, so that you don't have to ask it every time, but you could say, hey, I'm waiting for a yellow cab, or I'm waiting for uh, a red RAV4, and eventually it'll be able to, hopefully be able to tell you when that car arrives, or somebody moved your mug on you, or you dropped your keys. It's like, okay, let me know when you see my keys, or see some keys. So, like, those are things that are coming. I know there's some other things coming, but I like the Ally. I like what it's doing, and both from my day job and my own curiosity, I'm very curious to try these and see how Ally works. Again, hands free. That's a nice advantage. Now, unlike the Meta Raybans or another pair of glasses I'm going to talk about a little bit at the end of the video, these they come in 3 different frames. When you pre-order them, you can choose like a shiny black, a gray, or a brown frame, but you can't choose like regular glass, sunglasses, or transition lenses. But they did just say you could just go to your local optician or whatever and get the lenses swapped out. So I might, we'll see. I might switch them out for some transition lenses or something like that once I get them, but we'll see. The other thing, just like the Meta Raybans, you can use them as a Bluetooth headset, so you can listen to voiceover or talkback. It works on Android or iOS. You can use it to listen to all your books and podcasts and any other media that you would. You can make calls with it. So you should be able to use it with Zoom and stuff as well, I would presume. Anything that you can do with a Bluetooth headset, you should be able to do with these. Now, the battery life is what really intrigued me about this, is depending on how heavily you're using the AI or what you're using the glasses for, they're saying, like, if you're heavily using AI constantly, maybe you'll get 6 to 8 hours out of it. But then if you're just doing lighter tasks, you can probably get over 15 hours. So you'll get like all day use out of these. And if I had a major complaint about the Meta glasses, aside from some of its AI quirks, I would say that it's the not so great battery life. So these are going to be a nice upgrade for that, in theory. The other thing that makes them kind of neat is, so the way these work, and if you're familiar with the Envision glasses, that, basically for the original Envision glasses, they took the original Google Glass and they, put the Ally, or they put the Envision stuff on them. So the right-hand side was really big and bulky and clunky, and it wasn't comfortable at all to me. And to me, it was a little slow. These just look like regular glasses again, so they're not going to be weird and clunky. And because the Google glasses, like, they didn't even have like the full lens. You just had this weird little screen thing, I think, on the right side of your, and then you had the frames. But it was just, again, it's not Envision, it was Google that made them, but it looks like something that was sort of hacked or cobbled together. Where these actually look reasonably, they look cool, they look fashionable, and they're going to be a lot more evenly, like, both bows or both arms of the glasses are going to be the same. Like, we're looking at them here. They are, they just look like a regular pair of glasses, which is great. They're going to be lighter. They're going to be more comfortable. They're going to look decent. But what I was going to say was, the other interesting thing, and I'm very curious to see how this works, is that the way the things charge, they don't charge via the case. It looks like the case is just a case here, but instead what happens is you actually pull off, the sides of your glasses, you pull those away from the front piece, and there are two batteries apparently. So there's a battery in each arm, that goes around to the behind your ear. There's speakers in there, and then there is battery in both, and that's what gives it the extra battery life. But when you pull them off of the lens, or the front of the frame, when you pull it off, you'll see a USB-C port, and then you just plug in like a USB-C cable that you see here, and then you can just charge them. And they say, oh, you charge them for like a minute, you get, I forget even what it was, like 3 hours. If you charge them for 15 minutes, you get like a couple more hours, and like a full charge is only like an hour and a half. But what's neat about this sort of like detachable arms thing is that apparently you can um, buy, probably directly through um, Solo, or the company that makes the Solos. You could buy extra arms and then just have these extra arms on like a battery pack or a charger, and then just hot swap. So like you could pull off your left arm of your glasses, pop in the new arm that's got a full charge, and then boom, you're back in it. That's a really neat idea. Like, I like the idea that the other glasses have been using, where you have a chargeable, like you have a case that can recharge the glasses a few times. This one doesn't have that. But it's sort of an interesting idea, these sort of modular battery things. And that's kind of cool, because again, maybe your batteries go to crap after a while. You just buy a new arm, and if your glasses frames are good, you just snap the new arm back on, and boom, you got a fresh battery, and you can chuck the other one, if the battery goes to crap on you. So, if you're familiar with what Ally can do on your phone, you're basically going to have the same exact functionality on the glasses, just hands-free, because everything is done via the phone itself. So you pair the glasses with the Ally app on your phone, and that's what does, like, your glasses will send the audio if you're speaking, or it'll send like the information from your cameras. That's the other interesting thing, is there are two cameras, one on either side. And I don't know exactly how that's going to impact. Like, they said it's not going to give it a wider field of view, but it's supposed to be like sharper. So like if you're trying to read smaller text or something, or get more detail for recognizing text or an item or a person or something, it should probably help with that. So I'm curious what how the accuracy and everything is going to be with these. But so your glasses are really just passing the information to your phone, and then your Ally app will be spinning it back to the glasses. And it's supposed to be, the other big concern is latency. And like I said, I'm not going to take things at face value until I get them in my hands or put them on my head. But I don't know. They're aiming for, like, I don't even remember what the milliseconds, but they say they're aiming for super low latency. So it's just like in the time, like if I was talking to a person next to me, they would respond in that, that quickly. And they're hoping to speed up, of course, the Ally app as well, because the things that they're working on for the glasses, they want to optimize for the app as well. Because there are times where I literally had a coworker again ask me today about the Ally app, and he's been using it, and he says, "Is your response time for the Ally app, is it a little slow?" And normally, like when I have a conversation, if I'm just chatting back and forth with it, it's generally okay. But when you start doing the camera tasks, and then it's like, oh, let me take a look. whether it's identifying something or reading something, that's where it's a little slower. And so it'll be interesting to see both how the app improve and how quickly the glasses will respond. But, again, we're having here we are. We have all these different platforms. But even at 400 to 600 bucks, it's still a hell of a lot cheaper than the Envision glasses ever were. What were they, like 2,500 bucks or more? I forget. They weren't cheap, and like I said, to me, they were not comfortable at all. I tried some through work, and I'm like, no, I can wait. And then the Metas came out, and I've really grown fond of them. So yeah, you can go to ally.me/glasses, and it'll take you just right to this page that we're at right now, ally.me/glasses, and you can read about them. They've got a bunch of, they've got a couple videos. They've got some screenshots. They show the glasses. They've got some paragraphs describing like the features and all the shenanigans here, so you can read up on them. And again, if you're familiar with Ally and how it works, and if you've heard or if you've played with like smart glasses at all, like the Meta Raybans, you'll kind of have an idea what you're getting into here. But yeah, I did pre-order a pair because I know people are going to ask them at work, and I'm a nerd, and I happen to have a disposable income because I do work, and so I bought a pair. I want to know. I want to look at what each of these platforms are offering in the way of hands-free accessibility. I've had the Ray-Bans now for a while. They're getting pretty good. I want to see how these are. And then, Google and what Gemini is doing, like, even though it's not geared toward blind specifically, just like some of the conversations that I've experimented a little bit with using the Gemini app on my phone, it's pretty neat. And so I would be sort of curious to try the Google glasses when they come out. And if and when, I'm sure eventually Apple will do their glasses, and they might have some pretty interesting twists on theirs. So unfortunately, if I had to guess, they're probably going to be a little more expensive because they're Apple. But I hope they don't pull a frickin' Apple Vision Pro and be like, yeah, we're Apple, we can afford to charge $2-3 grand for these. They would be screwing themselves over bad if they did, I think. Because that's what's cool about these. Like I said, I love that we're getting both even for assistive technology, like Envision, they are working, primarily assistive technology focus, but they're using mainstream technology, and that mainstream technology, that hardware has gone down in price the last few years, and so they can sell instead of $2-3 grand or more. I think back to, like, I remember several years ago at work with, we kept getting a look at the Orcam, and they were really trying to sell that thing. And it was neat. I'm not denying that it had some cool features and like the gestures and stuff that it did. But that thing was expensive. And the other thing I didn't like about that one was like we had people who wanted to use it in like a work setting, especially like a retail setting, and they wanted to put their own custom barcodes and stuff in so they could find the products they needed to. And the thing that they never added was they didn't add the ability to back up the database of, like, if let's say you added a whole bunch of custom barcodes for what you were selling in your store, your place of work. Well, if you lost your Orcam, or if you lost your glasses, or they broke, you were SOL, and you had to rebuild that again from scratch. And so they never did add that. And then on top of that, the price, I don't know, man. Like like I said, I'm not saying it was a bad product. It was a neat product, but especially now, I don't know, man. I'm kind of wondering if their days are numbered because again, we're getting so many more affordable products, and if the Solos glasses, which again are designed for blind and low vision users, and the last pair of glasses I'm going to talk about here briefly are also designed for blind and low vision users, and how well they turn out. They are all targeting again this 4 to 700 price range. You know, it's going to be hard for some of these other companies to compete if they're still going to do the traditional assistive technology thing and go, yeah, we can charge a few grand, we can do that. I don't know if that's really going to work. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. We have the Meta glasses. We're going to see what the Google glasses do eventually. Apple, who knows what they're going to do. They need to figure out they need to either figure out or buy some other AI company because Siri's still as dumb as a box of rocks most of the time. I mean, it's nice that they can you can do a little bit of chat GPT if you'd be like, hey, you know who, chat GPT, blah, 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 and ask a question. But it needs to be a little smoother, and, the app integration that they were talking about that they pretty much lied about last year, that never happened. So, well, it's interesting like I said, there's so much happening both with AI and wearables and how they're both combining with each other. The next few years are going to be mighty interesting. So the last pair of glasses I want to talk about, I've talked about them on the channel before, but it looks like we're getting closer to shipping those too. The Echo Vision glasses, and I would say those are probably a little bit more similar to the Meta Raybans in that they have a charging case, it sounds like. And they're doing their own sort of AI thing. So I don't know. I've seen a couple webinars about it, and like I said, I'm curious. It's one of those things where until I see it a lot, or until I really play with them myself, I'm not really gonna judge or speculate too much. But again, they're looking at doing object identification and description. They have sort of a live AI type of thing where it's not preemptive, where you can't just say, hey, help me find my keys, or let me know when the Uber shows up. Not yet anyway, but as you move your head, the live AI will be able to kind of update you and tell you what you're looking at. And then they're looking at, of course, reading text is a crucial thing for blind users, so OCR, that kind of a thing. So all of the things, again, that you're going to want like a AI assistant to do. And late last year when they announced these, they too had a early bird pre-order kind of a incentive. You got the glasses for cheaper, and if you pre-ordered them early enough, I don't know if that is still happening right now. It might be too late now. But if you pre-ordered them, not only did you get a discount on the glasses, but they were going to give you a lifetime subscription to their AI, so their AI service, so you wouldn't have to pay a monthly or yearly fee. So at the time, I'm like, well, I kind of want to wait and see what these glasses are going to do. But, like I said, with the hardware discount, and especially not having to pay for the subscription as long as I own the pair of glasses, I'm like, okay, I can afford it. I will put down my pre-order. And in theory, last I heard from one of their recent webinars a few days ago, they are also looking at starting to ship for the people who pre-ordered. First come, first serve. Whoever ordered first will get them first. But they are looking at like a late September, early October shipment too. So I am going to have a few different smart glasses to play with. Now, the unique thing also that I like about them, and I wish other glasses would do this, and I don't know if that's something they could patch in via firmware. The thing that I like about the Echo Visions is, like, I've had, everyone talks about, how do you record the sound of these? You got to jerry rig a microphone really close to them and hope it picks up or whatever. So not only can you use these Echo Visions as a Bluetooth headset and use it with their AI app and everything, but they will also be able to then pair two devices while connected to your phone. So, like, let's say that if you were also hard of hearing, or you could pair your Echo Visions to a Bluetooth hearing aid, and then you would get your audio through that instead. Or let's say that, hey, I want to do a video for you guys, or at work I want to do a demo for somebody. I can grab a Bluetooth speaker and I can pair my glasses so the audio will come out of the Bluetooth speaker. And then they can actually, when I ask it something, it will actually go through the speaker and people can hear what the glasses are telling me. So yeah, you can use the speakers in the glasses, but for demo purposes, or like I said, hard of hearing users who are using hearing aids as well, that's a unique perk that the Echo Visions have that none of the other ones do. Even the Solos here, somebody asked about that in the webinar this morning, and they said, no, we can't do that right now with the hardware. That was one of the unfortunate sacrifices. So I don't know if it's the way that the hardware is designed, or if there's another, like, if there's like an API, or if there's like a software, firmware thingy that they could do to make that possible. I don't know. It would be interesting to know. So again, those are some of the unique things that the Echo Visions have, and I forget what their estimated battery life is supposed to be. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's a little bit more than the Metas, but I don't think it's going to be quite near as close to the Solos, because again, this whole modular arm thing where they're like, yeah, just stick a big old battery in the, each of the arms on the glasses. That's a really neat approach. So that's where because if they're doubling up on battery, yeah, I could see that, because if you took one of those away, yeah, then you would be getting like 4 to 6, let's say, maybe. But yeah, so the land of wearables, the land of smart glasses, go look at my hardware review playlist over the past 10 plus years. How many of those have been headphone reviews? How many of those have been Bluetooth headphone reviews? I've got like the Bluetooth headphone repository warehouse here, and it looks like smart glasses are going to be the next investment here. It sounds like I'm going to have the smartphone museum, or smart glasses museum here pretty quick, because I've already got 2 pair of Meta glasses. I bought the one, and then I got accepted into the beta, and so we got one through there. So I have 2 pairs of Meta glasses, which I am using, by the way. I pair one with my work phone, and I pair one with my personal phone, and depending on, like, oh, I'm going out for work, or I'm going out for home use, it's kind of cool having them separate. And it's really funny because literally when I go to work, I want to have a Bluetooth headset for my work phone when I need a Bluetooth headset. So I wear my work glasses, but I also can wear very comfortably. I can wear my aftershocks, my shocks, my open comms as well. So I'll put my open comms on. They are paired with my personal phone, and then I wear my work Meta Raybans paired to my work phone. I have two Bluetooth. The cool thing is I have two Bluetooth headsets on my head, so I can listen to whatever phone I want. I can use a call or Zoom on whatever platform, whatever phone I want. And with all that, my ears are still free. I'm wearing two Bluetooth headsets, and my ears are still free, so I can easily hear traffic. I can easily hear conversations or other things at work. And so, yeah, I'm probably look nerdy as hell, but I don't care. Bring it. I will be. I'm a cyborg, man. I'm totally fine with that. Now, I'm not so keen on. I don't want implants, but if I can wear things, because the problem with implants, technology changes so fast. I'm a complete wuss when it comes to like surgery and doctors and anything medical in general. But on top of that, why would I surgically implant something that's going to be outdated in a year and a half anyway? So, no, just give me some wearables and we'll augment that way. That I'm totally fine doing. So, yeah, look forward to. I will be able to cover the Echo Visions. I will be able to cover the solos that we've been talking and talking about and looking at here. And of course, like I said, I have covered the metas, but I may do like a updated video on those. Maybe if I can find a way, I'll for sure at least talk in a video about, once I have all three pair and I can compare, like, oh, how do they do with reading? How do they do with object identification? How do they sound? How do they work with when making a phone call? How do they work when listening to media or using voiceover? Is there latency? Those are the types of things that of course we're all curious about for all these wearables. And so I won't guarantee that I'll be buying every frickin' pair of glasses that come out, but if something sounds compelling about them and there's a reasonable price incentive or something and they're affordable, maybe I will look at them. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to a saturation point where, like, okay, enough is enough. You're going to have to do something really neat to wow me or come in at a hell of a price point. But, like I said, this is the early bird. This is the early adopter phase. And as people are still sort of just figuring out, not just, whether it's mainstream or accessibility wise, yeah, it's just figuring all this stuff out. And AI is changing so fast that look at where we were. What was it, 2023, fall of 2023? I know they had it during that summer, but like everyone finally got access to Be My Eyes, and that just blew the doors open on everything. So in about 2 years, look at how far we've come. Like everybody, seeing AI has improved drastically, and vision is improved. Ally came out, and then of course you have your mainstream stuff, your Chat GPT, your Gemini, your Copilot, which I haven't really used much of, but like there's a good several of them. So who knows, man? I can't even imagine what things are going to be 2 years from now. But that's where we are now. So it's been another long video, but again, I've had a lot of stuff to talk about, and even without the other sort of things I wanted to kind of rant about at some point, we didn't even do that here, and there was still loads to talk about, and all good, positive stuff, all potentially really cool stuff happening. So hope you guys enjoyed this bonus video. You can give it a like if you did. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, Blue Sky at Illegally Cited, illegally-cited.com, and right here on YouTube. Until next time, I will chat with everybody again later.